everybody. I'm Dwayne Bachman along with Bob Luby. We welcome you to Alexander Stadium in tonight's contest between the Piqua Indians and the Lions of Meadowdale High School from Dayton. The Indians were impressive last Friday night in beating Lima Senior High 26-6. A win tonight gets the Indians ready for their third consecutive home game next Friday night against Fairborn, to be followed by a clash with Trotwood Madison a week later. Bob Luby, everybody expects this to be a rather lopsided game, but do you think Bill Neese and the coaching staff have taken this one for granted?
You never take a game for granted, Dwayne. Anytime you play, you have to be ready for anything, and I think that's the way they approach this game. You can't walk in here and think that this is going to happen very easily for a football team. I'm sure the Indians have prepared very hard and spent a lot of time preparing for Meadowdale, and that's the way the coaches do things. You never think that a game's won until it is won.
Well, we'll be right back with more of our pregame coverage on the Indian Nation station right after this timeout. Welcome back to Pert Field at Alexander Stadium, where you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station. Dwayne Bachman and Bob Luby with pregame action. Bob, let's start with the starting lineups for the Lions from Meadowdale and the Indians from Piqua High School.
Well, Piqua won the toss and deferred to the second half, so Meadowdale will be on the offensive outlook here early. We'll give you their starting offensive lineup. They'll line up with number 60, Kirby Frost at center. He's 5'9", 190-pound junior. The guards are number 58, Zachary Huntley. He's a 5'9", 185-pound senior. And number 50, Daniel Cummings, a 6', 221-pound junior. The tackles, number 52, Jamal Weiss, a 6'5", 255-pound freshman. And number 51, Rashad Jones, a 6'1", 235-pound senior. The ends, number 6, Alsame Bague. He's 5'10", 150-pound sophomore. And number 13, Jermaine Daniel, a 6'2", 165-pound sophomore. Quarterback, number 4, Elijah Carson, 6', 190-pound senior. Fullback, number 30, Isaiah May, 5'7", 152-pound sophomore. Halfbacks, number 2, Bryson Flukas, 5'9", 172-pound senior. And number 21, Jawan Gaddis, a 5'10", 163-pound sophomore. For the Indians defensively, they'll line up across the front. Number 8, Jarrell Lewis, a 6'1", 242-pound sophomore at end. The other end, number 87, Grant Toops. He's 6'3", 226-pound senior. Tackles, number 89, Brennan Toops, a 6', 209-pound senior. And number 44, Lance Reeves, a 6', 263-pound sophomore. Linebackers, number 25, Corin Coleman, 5'10", 176-pound sophomore. Number 37, McKeegan Kuhn, 6'1", 218-pound junior. Number 40, Matt Blankenship, a 5'11", 204-pound junior. And Craig Hemmert, number 14, a 5'11", 181-pound senior. Corners, number 5, Zane Booker, 6'2", 177-pound junior. And number 15, Owen Toops, a 6'2", 171-pound senior. Safety, number 11, Micah Karn. He's 5'11", 192-pound senior.
Those are your starting lineups for the ball game tonight. The Meadowdale Lions coming in. They opened the season by playing the Columbus Crusaders, a club team, and won. Their second game was against Urbana, and they were overwhelmed. Piqua coming in, they lost their opener to Chaminade Julian, and last Friday night, a very impressive performance against the Lima Senior High Spartans. Bob, how about a scouting report on this one?
Okay, don't have a whole lot of info about Meadowdale. Do know that offensively they run the pro eye. Their quarterback is Elijah Carson. He's another athletic quarterback. The Indians seem to be facing a lot of athletic quarterbacks this year. He can make things happen. He throws the ball well, runs it well. Their running attack, they like to run the blast, which is used to be called the ISO. They'll sweep with the football, they'll run power football. And they try to lull you to sleep, and they'll run the bootleg pass. They like to bootleg to the tight end coming across the middle. Defensively, Meadowdale plays a 43 defense. The defensive line does a good job of penetrating, getting upfield. They'll play a lot of man coverage defensively with their backs. So, again, the kind of football team that is not very big in terms of numbers, but they have some athletes out there, and they move around pretty well.
The Pride of Piqua High School Marching Band is on the field. They've played the fight song. They've played the alma mater. We're basically waiting now for both teams to come from their dressing rooms, at which time we'll get the national anthem. The officials for tonight's game, the referee is Larry Clemens. The lineman is Rob Cowles. The line judge, Billy Willis. The umpire is Rich Fox. And the back judge is Justin McCullough. How about keys to a Piqua win, Bob?
Okay, after thinking about this, I feel it's important, number one, for Piqua to continue to run the ball successfully. They ran the ball very well last week, had a lot of backs involved in the process. They got a great stable of backs that take care of the football. Jarrell Lewis, McKeegan Kuhn, Colin Rowe, Matt Blankenship, and Corin Coleman. And they really pound the defense with their athletic ability. Secondly, I think it's important tonight, facing a quarterback who's the center of the offense, to pressure the quarterback, try to force mistakes, force him into turnovers, and to just keep him moving. If he's a pocket passer, force him out of the pocket, make him do things he doesn't want to do.
Well, those are the keys to a Piqua win, but right now we're waiting for both teams to find their way onto the sideline, and Piqua High School Marching Band is getting ready to favor us with the national anthem. But right now we're waiting for the Piqua Indians to come through from their dressing room. The Lions from Meadowdale are on the sideline, and we're just about a minute or two away from the national anthem, to be followed by the kickoff on this very, very inclement evening. The it's overcast, but not raining too hard. I think it's just a light sprinkle. Here come the Indians out of their dressing room. They're going to line up, and at that time we're just about ready for the national anthem and the kickoff for this third game of the 2018 season. Band now with the fight song. Here come the Indians to the sideline. They'll line up along the sideline as the Lions are lined up against the sideline on the far side here of Alexander Stadium, Burkefield. Glad you joined us, Dwayne Bachman and Bob Luby. Again, tonight is Meadowdale. Next Friday night, the third consecutive home game, we'll be here with Fairborn visiting Piqua. So make sure you stay with us. We have 6 home games this season, and we hope you'll join us for all of them. Ought to be very, very interesting. A lot of teams on that schedule are very, very much vulnerable to this Piqua attack. This Piqua attack last Friday night, very, very impressive. Bob, very impressive last Friday night, but right now the fans here at Piqua are being asked to stand, and we're waiting now for the fans to stand, take off their caps, and we're waiting for the Piqua High School Marching Band to favor us with the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand, remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
National anthem by the Pride of Piqua High School Marching Band. A reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station. You're home for Piqua Athletics. Just about ready now for the kickoff. The officials are taking their positions, and we'll be ready to start this one in just a moment. Glad you've joined us. Dwayne Bachman, Bob Luby, Piqua versus Meadowdale. Well, Bob, we'll see what's going to happen very, very quickly as the Indians huddled around their head coach, and the Lions hanging around their head coach. That's Robert Brown. Meadowdale coming in 1-1. Piqua coming in with the same score, same record, but a little different type of competition. Indians looked very, very strong last Friday night against Lima Senior, Bob.
Came out and played well, moved the football well. Defense was strong. Talked about the offensive line play. Offensive line did a great job creating running lanes for the backs, and just overall was a good team effort.
All right, both teams now are getting ready to kick this one off.
Here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. This year, participants will run under the lights and finish at the 50.
And it looks like the Indians are going to kick it off. Number 88, Austin Burns, is going to kick it off for the Indians. Deep for the Lions. And we can tell you right now, we have white jerseys on the Lions with gold numbers, and boy, are they difficult to pick up, but we'll do our best. Burns ready to kick it off, waiting for the whistle from our referee, Larry Clemens. Here's the whistle, and here's the kick. A squib kick right over the middle. Pick up by the Lions at about the 37-yard line. So a short kick, Bob, and the Lions have it first and 10. They're going to have it on their own. Looks like about the 37. Let's see where they spot the football. No, I think it's going to be, well, we haven't spotted the football yet, so let's see where they put it down. Glad you've joined us from Alexander Stadium. That ball's going to be on the 40-yard line, so it's going to be first and 10 for Meadowdale. Their quarterback is Elijah Carson. Let's see what they do as they come to the line of scrimmage on the opening offensive series of this ball game. Carson over center. May and Bryson Flukas are the running backs behind him. Hand off to Flukas. Flukas on the left side gets some running room. He's going to get about 9 yards. Looks like it's going to be about second down and 1. Nice opener by number 2, Bryson Flukas, 5'10", 172-pound senior.
Indians brought somebody off the edge, and he had a shot at Flukas, but he reached out. It was kind of like an arm tackle, and Flukas ran right through it. Nice gain, picked up, as you said, 9 yards, so second and short.
Lions up to the line of scrimmage. Ball resting on their own 49-yard line. Second down and 1. Carson hands it off to Flukas again. Flukas going to try to go around the right side. Gets a lot of blue jerseys. He lost a couple yards. Nice defensive work there by the Indians, Bob.
Yeah, the Indians penetrated. Matt Blankenship had a hand on him. Couldn't bring him down, but slowed him down enough where the rest of the backers, Piqua linebackers, came over and took him down. So now it's going to be third and 2. They lost a yard on that.
Hate to say it, but Bob, we got a big play early in this ball game. This is a possession play for the Lions. This is a takeaway play for the Indians. Carson over center. Wideouts to the top side. Carson hands off to Flukas. Flukas on the left side. He's going to be over the midfield stripe, so it's going to be a first down for the Meadowdale Lions here in the early going.
Did a nice job, a little slant running attack. He came back and ran outside his own guard tackle gap, picked up the first down.
First and 10 for the Lions. They're in Piqua territory now on that 49-yard line.
Bryson Flukas, 5'9", 172-pound senior. Really nice runner.
Yes, he is.
Strong runner. He's got good speed and runs through arm tackles. An arm tackle is not going to bring him down.
Carson brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He's going to pass, rolling out to the left side. Left-hander throws it over the middle, intended for his receiver. Let's see. Boy, it's so hard to see the numbers, Bob. Don't know who the intended receiver was, but threw it a little bit behind him. He couldn't come up with it, so it's going to be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, off his fingertips, had to reach back for it, so wasn't real well thrown, but could have been. It was catchable.
2nd down and 10. Lions up to the line of scrimmage. Carson's the quarterback. The running backs is Isaiah May and Bryson Flukas. Long count. Carson this time going to keep it over to the right side, trying to go around and taking the corner. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard. Nice play there by Piqua's number 5, Zane Booker.
A little bootleg action. Carson kept the football, faked to a back coming to the left, and he rolled out to the right with it, tried to get around the end, but Zane Booker did a nice job. Stayed home, fought off a blocker, and made the stop.
3rd down and 9 for the Lions.
Looks like a passing situation here for the Lions.
Early going first quarter. Elijah Carson looks over the defense. Pitch out to the left-hand side. The ball's on the ground, but the offensive back picked it up and then fell on it for a loss, so that's going to bring up a 4th down situation. He bobbled it, picked it up, but by that time, he was surrounded by blue jersey.
Wanted to run the toss sweep, and it was a good toss, but the ball carrier just couldn't hold on to it, bounced back up, so they're faced with a fourth and about 10 and a half, and
it looks like Elijah Carson, who is listed as their punter. Boy, he's not very far behind the line of scrimmage, so I'm guessing Elijah is going to punt it away. Let's see if that's the... No, yes, he is. A left-footed kicker. Going to fit it down to Micah Karn. Micah Karn's got it at the 15-yard line. He's got some running room. He gets it, to the 25, 26-yard line before he's dropped in there by Elijah Carson. So now the Indians have the ball, Bob. Let's see what they can do on the offense.
Yeah, it was a good job defensively by the Indians. After a couple somewhat long gains by Meadowdale, the Indians stiffened up a little bit and take over at their own 27-yard line.
Micah Karn is going to be the quarterback. Had a lot of offensive help offensively last Friday night. 4 or 5 of the Indians were carrying the football, and that made it difficult for the Lima Senior defense. Let's see how the Meadowdale Lions respond. Handoff to number 37. That's number 37 is
number 37, McKagan Kuhn.
McKagan Kuhn with a nice gain. Let's give him 5. Let's call it 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, just an off tackle, looked like a type of belly play, and McKagan just turned it up and got a lot of the yardage on his own. He's a strong runner, pulled the tackler along.
Second down. Let's call it 2nd down and 5. Ball resting on the 33-yard line. Handoff this time. Going to give it to one of the halfbacks. That's going to go to number 8. That's going to be handed off to the big guy, Jarrell Lewis. A 6'1", 242-pound sophomore. Looks like he's got enough for a first down. I like number 8, Bob.
He's a big guy. Obviously can run with the football. Not a speedster, but just the kind of guy that can be a good ball carrier. He plays on the defensive line for the Indians, so he goes both ways.
Here come the Indians up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10, still in their own territory. Micah Karn over center. This time he's going to hand it off to McKagan Kuhn. McKagan Kuhn with lots and lots of room. Got more than enough all the way down to the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Indians. Boy, McKagan Kuhn's off to a good start, Bob.
Yeah, runs the ball. Again, one of those stable backs in the stable of Piqua running backs. Does a good job, picks up the first down. Looked like a little trap out there. McKeegan's good size. He's 6'1", 218 pounds. He's a junior. Found daylight and just turned it upfield.
1st and 10 for the Indians. They've got it on the Meadowdale 36-yard line. This time, Micah Karn's going to be in the tailback position, waiting for the snap. He's got it. Going to keep the ball over the right side. Oh, has he got running room? He's around the right side. He's down inside the 20-yard line, well beyond the stakes. Micah Karn with a nice fake inside, and then kept it and scooted around the right side for a big gainer, 1st and 10 for the Indians. And right now, the Indians' running attack, Bob, is just too strong for Meadowdale.
Right now, Meadowdale's having a tough time defensing the Indian offense. And, that's probably going to get worse before it gets better for them because of the numbers they have. They have some guys going both ways, and they have a small roster. And luckily, it's not real hot tonight. But I think that'll wear you down playing that many people both ways.
Karn again. Hands it off this time. Well, he kept it. Boy, what a nice fake. Micah Karn faked it to one of his running backs. I thought he handed it off to Coleman, but he didn't. He kept it, went right up the middle, got about, let's give him 6. Let's call it 2nd down and 2. Boy, that was a good fake on the part of number 11.
Yeah, just option type play, and quarterback Micah Karn felt like, hey, I see daylight if I keep the football, so I'm going to keep it and run with it.
2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down and 4. Piqua threatening here early. Karn again. This time he hands it off to number 25, and that's Coleman. Coleman got inside the 10, but might be just a little short of the 1st down. Let's see where they spot the football. Looks like it's going to be 3rd down. Let's call it 3rd down and a long 1.
And Stephon Hughes with a tackle.
Indians doing a good job getting off the football, the offensive line, getting on a block, staying on a block, creating these running lanes for the running backs.
5 minutes left to go in the 1st quarter. Indians threatening here early. This time Karn's over center. We got a wide out to the top side and to the near side. Handoff this time goes to McKeegan-Coon. McKeegan-Coon might be in for the touchdown. Let's see if he got into the end zone. And he did. McKeegan-Coon puts one on the board with 4:56 left to go in the 1st quarter.
Just power football. McKeegan-Coon becomes his own blocker sometimes. If there's not a hole, he'll create one and power his way straight ahead. And he did that time and just plowed into the end zone.
So now Micah Karn going to try to make it a 7-0 ball game. Owen Toops is the holder. Oh, snap gets away from Toops. Micah Karn's got it. Now he's scrambling around. He's going to try to find somebody in the end zone. Did he? No, he did not. Goes incomplete at 4:56 left to go 1st quarter. The Indians with a 6-0 lead. Snap got away from the holder, Bob. Micah Karn tried to find somebody in the end zone. Couldn't do it. Piqua 6, Meadowdale nothing.
That's one part of the game the Indians have to clean up. They have trouble executing that extra point. And I know the ball might be a little slippery, but still, you got to find a way to catch that snap and deal with it. They had trouble with that the last game against Lima. That's an area, said it before, in a close game, that could be a difference maker.
And when you look at the schedule, there could be a lot of competitive games in the GWAC North, so you're right. Every point like that could be a factor before this season's over. Austin Burns getting ready to kick it off for the Indians. He's waiting for the whistle. He's got it from Larry Clemens. Here's the kick. Again, down to about the 23-yard line, picked up by Meadowdale, trying to get somebody outside, and he's got somebody with some speed around the outside, cuts back, and going to be down inside the 30-yard line. What a nice return. And the return, I think, was by number 30, Isaiah May. So Isaiah May with a terrific run back, and the Lions are in terrific field position with just 4:43 left to go 1st quarter. So, Bob, that showed us that there are some speedsters in that backfield for the Lions.
They can move, and not good kick coverage by the Indians.
No.
allowed just the back to break out on the edge and get upfield.
1st and 10, ball resting right on the Piqua 30-yard line. Elijah Carson's the quarterback. Now he's in the tailback position. He's a left-hander, getting all kinds of pressure, trying to find somebody downfield. Goes out of bounds, but not before he gained, looks like he gained maybe 2 yards, so it looks like it's going to be 2nd down and 8. Carson's a left-hander, so that throws everything off just a little bit, especially for the defenders used to those right-handed quarterbacks.
He wanted to throw, but just looked downfield, couldn't find anybody open, and said, I better take the football, keep it, and picked up some positive yardage rather than taking a sack.
Lions up to the line of scrimmage. Carson going to go to the tailback position this time, waiting for the snap. He's going to keep it. Got away from one defender, but tripped up and down at about the 25-yard line. Bob, I don't know if I saw who made that tackle, but I sensed it was number 40. Was it Matt Blankenship?
Yeah, Matt stayed home, did a nice job, got an arm out, and took down Elijah Carson. What Meadowdale did, ran a fake to the left side, and Carson just kept the football and tried to come back the other way and try to catch the Indians off balance.
That makes it 3rd and 5. Carson again. In the tailback position. Man in motion to the left. Carson, the left-hander, trying to find a receiver. He's got one open, and he's going to be down. It's awfully close to a 1st down. Let's see where they spot the football. It's obviously going to be a 4th down play for Meadowdale. Looks like they're about. Now wait a minute.
I think it was an incomplete pass.
Oh, I thought he caught that ball, but
I think they ruled it incomplete.
I see. So the ball comes back. Now it's 4th down and 5. That ended up being one in favor of the Piqua Indians.
I think he had it in his hands, and when he got hit, he dropped it.
All right, let's see what Robert Brown, the coach for Meadowdale, decides to do on this 4th and 5. Carson getting all kinds of pressure. Going to put it up for grabs. Let's see what happens. Almost intercepted, but falls incomplete, so the Indians are going to take over 1st and 10 with 3:39 left to go in the 1st quarter. They've got a 6-0 advantage. Boy, they were putting pressure on Carson, Bob.
Yeah, they wanted to make it uncomfortable for him. Probably felt like he was going to throw the football, and they were going to make him throw it quickly.
Now let's see what the Indians can do with 3.5 minutes left to go in this 1st quarter. Micah Karn, this time going to be operating out of the shotgun. Waiting for the snap. Two wide outs to the top side, one to the near side. Karn, this time, hands it off to Colin Rowe. Colin Rowe gets about 7, maybe 8. Colin Rowe isn't very big, Bob, but he is very, very slippery.
He can find daylight, too. He's got good speed. He can find daylight. Took the handoff, saw a break in the off defensive line, and just turned it upfield. Nice job.
Let's call it 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down and 3, but it's awfully close to 2. Let's see what happens as we wind down the 1st quarter of play here at Alexander Stadium with Piqua with a 6-0 advantage. In the shotgun, Micah Karn. 2 wide outs to the near side, 2 to the top side. The snap. Handoff this time. This time Micah Karn is going to be thrown for a loss. He faked the ball to Colin, but Colin couldn't do anything with it. Micah kept it and was thrown back for a loss of a yard or 2. So now the Indians face with a possession play, Bob.
Yeah. And that was a situation where maybe he should have given to Colin. I think Colin had some yardage, maybe not big, but he would have had some positive yardage. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the 1st quarter. The Indians up 6-0.
Let's see what Bill Neese decides to do. Micah Karn in the shotgun. He's going to keep the ball. He's going to have a first down plus a couple yards. So the Indians keep the football. 1st and 10. Ball resting on their own. Looks to me like the 40-yard line. Wasn't much of that one, Bob. Straight ahead, but good blocking by that offensive line.
Yeah, right side of the offensive line, Riley Hill, Caden Clark, Brendan Toops just kind of cleared the way, plowed it straight ahead, and enabled Micah to pick up that first down.
2 minutes left to go, first quarter. Indians up to the line of scrimmage. 3 wide outs here to the near side, 1 to the top side. 1st and 10. Karn this time gets it off to Colin Rowe. Bopped off Owen Toops, but did get about 4 or 5 before he hit the turf. So let's give him 5. Let's call it 2nd down and 2.
Had some daylight quickly, but all of a sudden it closed. But he did pick up 5 yards. And Colin, again, he always finds a way to get positive yardage out of a play.
Play coming in from the sideline by Garrett Shrub for Piqua. Second down and 5. Ball resting on the Piqua 45-yard line. Karn this time fakes it to Karn's got some running room, Bob. I don't know if they're going to catch him, and I don't believe they are. Down to the 20, down to the 10, touchdown, and I don't see a flag.
Nope.
Micah Karn goes the distance. Bob, I think that's about a 60-yarder if I remember where that ball was snapped. 55 yards for Piqua. Micah Karn, boy, he outraced the defense, Bob.
Yeah, once he broke through the front 7 or 8, nobody was going to catch him. Did a nice job turning it upfield, used his blockers well, just took it to the end zone.
Let's see what the Indians do with the extra point. Micah Karn to kick it, Owen Toops to do the holding.
Karn on for the extra point.
Snappers McKeegan Kuhn. Here's the kick. It's up. It is no good. So the Indians go up 12-0 here as we wind down the first quarter of play. Just 50 seconds left to go. 55-yard running play by Micah Karn puts the Indians up 12-0. They'll kick it off to the Lions.
Again, the missed extra point. In a game like this, it's not a problem now, but any other type of game, it could be a big problem. The Indians are going to have to continue to work that and improve it.
It wasn't very good last Friday night. Didn't get any better tonight so far,
No,
Bob.
no.
And like you say, that could be big before this season's over. All right. Austin Burns to kick it off. My God, this is his 3rd time he's kicked it off, and we're still in the first quarter of play. Austin ready to go. They've gone for the short kick right over the middle. Let's see if that's what they continue to do. And they do. Short kick down to about the 25-yard line. Picked up, dropped by one of the Lions. Now he's going to try to get loose, and he was slammed to the ground. Who's on the bottom? 40. Somebody's going to get up off that stack, and I'm going to identify him. Boy, one of the Nikolai Medley was one of the Indians, but they had a couple of helpers there. Boy, they slammed him.
Lance Reeves was down there, number 44. Saw him get up, and he may have been the body slammer.
They did slam him to the ground. 1st and 10 for the Meadowdale Lions as we get down to the last minute of play here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. It's 12-0 in favor of Piqua. Glad you've joined us tonight. Dwayne Bachman, Bob Luby. Here come the Lions up to the line of scrimmage. This time we're going to have Elijah Carson over center. Has been operating out of the shotgun, not this time. Pitch out, goes to the far side. Let's see, it's going to go to Bryson Flukas. Bryson Flukas is going to get a yard, but that's about all he's going to get.
This toss sweep, and Flukas was looking just for a bit of daylight to run to, and the Indians shut that down very quickly.
Once again, leading the Indian defense, number 44, Lance Reeves.
Let's see what happens here on 2nd down and 9 in what probably will be the last play of the first quarter. Carson. I think he's waiting for the quarter to be over, and that's exactly what we've got. It's the end of the first quarter, Piqua 12, and Meadowdale nothing. Bob, while they get ready for the second quarter, let's say happy birthday to a very special lady friend of ours, Yuri Wilcox. Yuri celebrating her birthday over the weekend. A long-time Piqua educator, very well respected. We love her. She's celebrating, I believe, and I don't think this is a secret, her 90th birthday. So to all of us, Yuri Wilcox, happy birthday.
Echo everything you say. Great family. Kids went through the Piqua system. Yuri was a teacher, supervisor here, and what a wonderful person she was.
Happy birthday, Yuri.
Yep, happy birthday.
So now as we start the second quarter of play, the Indians with a 12-0 lead.
While he was warming up.
Let's see what happens as we have the officials get everybody lined up for the second quarter of play. It's going to be second down and 9. The ball's going to be on the Meadowdale 21-yard line. Bob, the first quarter belonged to the Indians. Really no surprise.
Oh, yeah. They did a lot of kicking, but it was kickoffs, fortunately. Meadowdale had the ball on 3 different possessions, and they just couldn't stop Piqua, get the ball back on a kick, and again, couldn't convert a whole lot. So now they have the ball on their own 21-yard line, 2nd and 9. See what the Indian defense can do with this Meadowdale offense.
Elijah Carson. He's the quarterback. Let's see if he's going to go over center or play out of the shotgun. Right now he's going to go over center. 2nd down and 9. Opening play of the second quarter. He's going to kick. He's going to look deep. He's going to be, he got away from a couple defenders. Now he's scooting out to the right. Oh, he got loose from everybody, and now he's going to have enough for a first down. Oh, Bob. The Indians had a couple shots at him, but couldn't bring him down. He goes all the way to the 34-yard line, enough for a first down. Yep. That was quite an athletic play by Carson.
It was, and some not so good athletic play by the Indians. They had him trapped back there and just couldn't corral him. They had many opportunities to take him down, and he ran right by and round people.
So let's see what happens now. It's 1st and 10 for the Lions. They've got the ball on their own 34-yard line, up to the line of scrimmage. Wide out here to the near side. One in the slot. Carson over center. Hands off to Flukas. Flukas trying to go around the corner. Can't do it. Slammed to the ground by 89, Bob. Number 89, Brennan Toops.
Great job. Brennan just played off the block. Shetty's blocker came back and just made the stop for a loss.
Let's give him a loss of 2. Let's call it 2nd down and 12. Good defensive play again by Brennan Toops. Glad you joined us tonight. Dwayne Bachman, Bob Luby with all the action. We'll be back next Friday night when Fairborn comes to town. 2nd down. Carson over center. 2 running backs behind him. This time he's going to give it to, he's going to keep it around the right side. The left-hander trying to find somebody. Oh, well over the head of his intended receiver. I think his intended receiver was Jawan Gaddis, Bob.
Tell you, you have to like the athletic ability of Elijah Carson. He throws a tight spiral, throws the ball well, but that was just overthrown. But he's athletic. He's a good quarterback, 6 foot, 190-pound senior, and number 4 is really the offensive leader of this Meadowdale football team.
Let's call it 3rd down. Let's call it 3rd down. We've got 3rd down and 12, and that is what we see on the scoreboard. Glad you've joined us from Alexander Stadium. The Piqua Indians with a 12-0 advantage here in the early going of the second quarter. Indians want to make the Lions punt. Let's see if they can do that. Carson says we're going to take timeout. So the Indians have forced
Timeout.
Coach Robert Brown of the Lions to take a timeout. This is a key play for them, Bob. They're trying to keep the ball, and the Indians want to get at it and see whether they can continue their offensive strategy.
Yeah, I think what happened, Elijah Carson let the clock run down too far, and it was like 2 seconds, and he said, hey, I can't get a play off. I have to call a timeout.
To prevent a delay of game. So that penalty would have cost them 5 yards, so they took the timeout. They're over there talking to their head coach, Robert Brown. Right now, Coach Bill Neese talking to his defense, and so far the defense for the Indians been rather, I guess good is a good term. I think it maybe been a little better than that.
Yeah, they played well. A couple plays they let out of their control, but overall it's been good. When you have zeros up on the scoreboard, that's usually a pretty good indicator.
That's right.
They have another chance now to force a punt if they can hold on this third down play.
Third down. Let's call it third down and 12. We're in the opening couple minutes of the second quarter. Piqua with a 12-0 lead. Carson going to operate this time out of the shotgun, waiting for the snap. He's got it. The left-hander tries to find a receiver. He got on the right side, but the receiver is going to be well beyond the 45-yard line and going to be enough for a Meadowdale first down.
Indians let that one out of the hole, had him 3rd and 12, and again, the quarterback, Elijah Carson, steps up, completes the pass. Receiver did a good job of putting the ball under his arm, getting upfield, got past the first down marker.
So that's 1st and 10 for the Lions. Have the ball on their own 47-yard line. Wide out to the top side, near here to the bottom. Carson out of the shotgun. Bryson Flukas behind him. Left-handed quarterback Carson. Oh, he's got some running room. He's going to have enough for another first down as he scoots out of bounds on the far side. Well, Bob, right now the Indians defense is struggling a little bit trying to corral Mr. Elijah Carson.
Well, what's happening, the defensive linemen are getting penetration and the linebackers, but they're running by him. They have to break down and get in a football position to be ready to make a tackle. You just can't sell out on a guy as athletic as Elijah Carson. He can make you miss. One step either way, and you're right by him. So you got to put a good, strong rush on, but you got to do it in a controlled way.
Carson is an awfully, awfully good football player. Now he's going to operate out of the shotgun, 1st and 10. Ball resting in Piqua territory. Back to pass is the left-hander, scooting here to the left side, trying to find a receiver. Did he find a receiver? Now they're grappling for the ball. What did they call?
And I see a flag back here. Maybe it was a hole.
I think it's a crack-back
block, yeah.
So the penalty's going to go against Meadowdale. I'm not so sure how they ruled the pass. Boy, the pass receiver and the defender were grappling with the ball. Don't have to worry about it. The penalty prevails.
We have an illegal block on the offense, number 20, 10-yard penalty, revert first down.
Okay, illegal block's going to put the ball back. Let's see where they spot it. Looks like they're going to spot it at the Meadowdale. Haven't walked it off yet. Let's see where it ends up. Ends up at the 37-yard line, so it's going to be first and a long, long way for the Lions.
That was Stephon Hughes that came back on that crackback block. He was caught and penalized.
1st and long for the Lions. And when we say long, we mean long.
31 yards.
Elijah Carson over center. Got the snap. Oh, fumble on the right side, Bob. Let's see who's got it.
I don't know if they called it an incomplete pass.
I believe they did, Bob.
I think they may have called that because he threw it forward.
So instead of a fumble, it was an incomplete pass. So That just makes it second down and a long way to go.
Good rush that time by the Indians. Indians are putting good pressure on Elijah Carson, but they're just not getting to him all the time.
That's right.
His elusiveness has enabled him to squirm out of a couple difficult situations.
And I think the word squirm is pretty apropos. Here we come down at second down. Over center, Elijah Carson. Hand off to his fullback. That's going to be Bryson Flukas. He got to the line of scrimmage, but that's just about all he got. So that's going to, let's just call it third down. Third down, no gain.
Jarrell Lewis, number 8, was one of the first to arrive on the scene there to make that stop. Jarrell, the big sophomore defensive end.
9 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in the second quarter. The Indians with a 12-0 lead. Third down, long way to go for the Lions. Let's see what Coach Robert Brown decides to do. You'd almost guess he's giving the Carson the passing signal. Let's see once. Carson, back to pass. Got somebody over the middle, got the completed pass, but completed pass inside Piqua territory, but it's going to be well short of the first down. In fact, it's going to be fourth down, and it's probably going to be fourth down. Let's call it fourth down and 15. So now, Bob, as with a 12-0 score, the ball in Piqua territory, what are they going to do? Are they going to punt it away? I don't believe they are. I think they're going to try to keep possession of the football, even though they've got 15 yards to go. Well, now Carson is in the shotgun. Last time he punted from right there. See what's going to happen. He's going to punt it again. Punt was blocked.
Penalty.
But a penalty against the...
yeah, Meadowdale was a procedure penalty. Somebody moved before the ball was snapped.
And then the punt was blocked, but I think the penalty prevailed, so it's going to be fourth down. Now it's fourth down and a long, long way. Let's see if they use that short punt formation that... boy, it looks to me like that's pretty dangerous, as much pressure as the Piqua defense is putting on them.
If you're getting a strong rush, you can't afford to line up that close to the line of scrimmage and kick the football.
He's moved back a little bit for this one, Bob.
Yeah, he's back a little further.
Here's the kick. Oh, a line drive kick. Going to go down inside the 30. Picked up by Piqua's. I think that's Owen Toops with the football. He picked it up, and he's in Meadowdale territory, where it's going to be 1st and 10. But we see somebody on the ground. Bob, I can't even tell whether it's a Lion or whether it's an Indian.
It's a Meadowdale player, yeah.
Meadowdale player down, and
can't see the number, though.
Piqua's going to have the football inside the 45-yard line. Let's see what they're going to do with it as they attend to the injured Lion from Meadowdale across the way. Glad you've joined us tonight. A reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation Station. Your home for Piqua Athletics. Dwayne Bachman, Bob Luby here tonight. We'll be back next Friday night when Fairborn comes to town. The Lions getting up. He's going to move rather slowly to the sideline, so we'll be ready to go here in just a moment. Right now, the Indians are huddled on the Piqua sideline, and the Lions huddled around Robert Brown, their head coach, on the far side. 1st and 10. Ball resting right on the Meadowdale 45-yard line.
Meadowdale can't afford to lose too many people to injury because of the numbers on their team. They have limited numbers, so they have to be very careful out there.
7 minutes, 41 seconds left to go in the first half. On an overcast evening, but Bob, I'm not so sure that it's raining any longer. So right now it's cooled off a little, and if it isn't raining, about as good as you're going to expect under these circumstances.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a very, very small crowd here tonight.
Let's see what happens as the Indians get the football. Micah Karn operating out of the shotgun. The snap. Karn back to pass. Now he's going to try to come to the right side, looking downfield, trying to find some running room. Gets away from a couple defenders. He's got a lot of running room. He's still on his feet. He might go all the way. One person to beat. Micah Karn to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Micah Karn. Oh, my goodness gracious. That is a 45-yard Micah Karn. But we have a couple flags on the field. But Micah Karn, that was probably an 80-yard run.
Yeah, by the time you ran back and forth and up and down, I don't know if there's a block in the back or a hold downfield.
Let's see what happens as we wait for a signal from our official referee is Larry Clemens. Penalty's going to be against the Indians. Is that going to come all the way back? Or are they going to get credit for some of that?
Is that a spot foul?
I'm not so sure. I believe, Bob, it's not going to be a touchdown, but I believe the Indians are going to get the football after the penalty is marked off against them. Ball's going to be at the Meadowdale 31-yard line. So Micah Karn's touchdown run is nullified, but awfully big gainer nonetheless. Indians have the football 1st and 10. I believe that's Blaine Uhl at quarterback for Piqua, isn't it? Yes, it is. Uhl hands the ball off to McKeegan-Kuhn. McKeegan-Kuhn gets down to about the 21-yard line. So McKeegan-Kuhn had a good first quarter. Finds enough for let's see if they move the chains, and they do. McKeegan-Kuhn gets enough for a Piqua first down.
Kind of interesting series here with the penalty and the touchdown coming back, and the Indians still pounding the football straight ahead.
Micah Karn got a short breather. He's back in at quarterback now. 1st and 10, ball resting on the Meadowdale 20-yard line. 2 wide outs to the top side, 2 to the near side. The snap. A pass over the middle, but incomplete to Owen Toops. He was pretty well covered by one of the defenders right there, Bob.
Yeah, the slant pattern, but the ball was kind of thrown low and behind him. I don't think that'd been a difficult catch even if he wasn't so well covered.
So let's see what happens as the Indians now have a 2nd down and 10 on the Meadowdale 20-yard line. 12-0 Piqua with 6 minutes and 48 seconds left to go in the first half. This time Micah Karn's over center. Going to go back to pass again. Looking to the left side. Oh, find somebody loose. That's number 40 is, I believe that's number 40 is Matt Blankenship.
Yeah.
Matt Blankenship in the left flat was all by himself. Micah Karn found him, and boy, that was a beautifully executed play, Bob. Again, Blankenship was all by himself on the left side. He gets it down to, let's see where they spot the football.
It's touchdown.
Oh, that was gone. Boy, I was intent on whether he caught the ball, and then we find out that he scored. So goodness gracious.
Yeah, that whole side just cleared out, and when Micah rolled out to the left, Blankenship was just standing out there by himself. All he had to do was outrun the last defender to make it to the end zone.
Let's see what the Indians do here. They're going to try to go for 2. Let's see if they can make this one pay off. Micah Karn over center. He's going to scoot out to the right side. Pass into the end zone to Owen Toops for 2. So the Indians answer the extra point dilemma with a 2-pointer, and with 6:38 left to go in the first quarter, the Indians now have a 20-0 lead. Boy, they made that one look easy, Bob. That was a beautifully executed play from Karn to Blankenship for the score.
Overcame a couple obstacles along the way and had to work a little harder to get the score, but you're right. Well executed play, Micah Karn and Blankenship hitching up on the touchdown, and then Micah and Toops on the extra points.
So now we're going to have Austin Burns kick it off for the Indians. Austin's been busy, Bob. This
Sure
will be
has.
number 4 or 5. So Austin, this has been kicking the ball right at about the 40-yard line in midfield, and 2 of the Lions, one on either side, and then there's one a little bit deeper. So there's a little there's method to the madness here, and the Lions have moved somebody up just to take care of that extra little pooch. This time Burns hits it deep, picked off by Bryson Flukas. Flukas is overwhelmed at the 30-yard line. So the Lions have the ball, 1st and 10. They've got it on their own 30-yard line. Oh, now we've got a Lion limping. So
a limping Lion. That can be dangerous.
Yes, they can be. And they have just a limited number of extra players. So I would imagine Coach Robert Brown concerned about keeping some healthy bodies into the lineup. So the Lions have it 1st and 10 with 6:30 left to go in the first half. The Indians 20, the Lions nothing.
I like some of these Meadowdale football players. Flukas, I like the way he runs. I like Elijah Carson. I think Isaiah May does a good job blocking from his fullback position. They have some people.
Let's see what happens as the Lions come up to the line of scrimmage. Elijah Carson is the quarterback. He's over center. He's got 2 running backs behind him waiting for the snap. He's got it. Hands it off. I believe that time he handed it off to Isaiah May. Isaiah May, well, didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Good defensive work by the Indians. Looked like he lost 2 yards. Let's call it 2nd down and 12.
McKeegan Kuhn was the first Indian to arrive at the scene to take down the ball carrier. McKeegan from his linebacker, inside linebacker position. You have to like him too. Boy, he's a tough
He's
youngster.
had a good first half, hasn't he?
He sure has. 6'1", 218-pound junior.
Let's see what the Lions are going to do on a 2nd down and 12. The clock says we've got 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the half. Indians have 20. Lions yet to stunt the scoreboard.
This is their 5th possession of the first half, and have done some positive things, but just really struck out when it gets down to the big play.
Carson over center. He's going to keep it to the right side, pitches it out to the right side, trying to find some running room. Oh, didn't get a chance to turn the corner. Let's see who got off. Bob, that was number 5. That was Zane Booker. A defensive play there by number 5. Another loss for the Lions. Bob, good defensive play by Zane Booker.
Oh, yeah, the Indians moved to the football very well. They pursue, arrive there, and make the tackle. And when you have slippery backs, I'll use the term slippery, guys with good speed and agility that Meadowdale has, it makes it difficult sometimes to make a tackle, but, you know, you have to do it.
3rd down. Let's call it 3rd down and 14. Carson back over center. Oh, gets away from a couple of defenders. He throws the ball. There's nothing. Throw the ball out of bounds just to be getting rid of it. So that's going to be incomplete. Or are they going to call intentional grounding? The official on this side is going to talk to the referee. I wonder if we could get an intentional grounding, and that's exactly what I think we're going to get. There wasn't anybody within 30 yards of that football, Bob.
I thought that was a no-doubter call. Yeah. You looked down, all you saw was green turf and the football laying out there. So, yeah, you had to call that, but I wonder why the official had to run over and talk to the other guy like, hey, should I call this or not?
I believe that's loss of down too, isn't it, Bob? Or am I wrong on that?
I think it is.
Loss of down, so that's going to make it 4th down. And as you might suspect, when it's 4th down, it is a long way for the Lions. And so I wonder, do we have timeout on the field? No, I don't think we do. I think we now are waiting for...
Well, the clock stopped for the penalty.
Here come a couple substitutes coming in from the Lions sideline. So Carson, who has done their punting, is going to be doing it from the end zone this time.
And the Indians will come back with good field position.
And I believe that's Owen Toops, if I'm not mistaken, at about the 35-yard line. I believe that's number 15, Owen Toops. Carson going to punt this one away from the end zone. Here's the snap. Line drive type kick. Oh, Owen Toops has got it at the 35. He's got some running room, can turn the corner. He's going to be down inside the 20, down to the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Beautiful return by Owen Toops. Owen Toops brings it all the way back to the 5-yard line. I don't see a flag, Bob.
No.
So I believe that's going to be a 1st and goal for the Indians. Owen Toops got pretty good speed, Bob. Didn't realize he was that quick.
Yeah, he weaved his way through the kick return team of the Meadowdale Lions and just did a nice job. Got to the sideline, straight down the sideline, and was close to the end zone.
1st and goal to go for the Indians. Ball resting on the 6-yard line. Micah Karn over center. He's going to scoot out to the left side, looking at the end zone. Almost intercepted by Meadowdale and intended for, I believe that was intended for Jarrell Lewis, but it didn't get high enough.
Yeah, I'll be honest, terrible pass.
Yes, that wasn't a good pass at all.
Had somebody in the end zone open.
Didn't have enough loft to it, Bob.
No, I can't imagine why he even threw it that way.
So the Indians get a bit of a break there. That looked like that ball could have been picked off by the Lions, but it falls incomplete, so it's 2nd down and goal to go. Bringing in a different football from the sideline as the Indians line up. Micah Karn over center. Lewis and McKeegan-Coon. McKeegan-Coon's going to get the ball. McKeegan-Coon, I believe that's 37 if it is. It is. McKeegan-Coon goes into the end zone for the score. McKeegan-Coon, not even touched, Bob. Goes in from the 6-yard line. And,
Flag on the play.
flag on the play, so let's see what that's all about. Waiting for Larry Clemens, the referee, to give us the signal. And so far, we have not seen it. I believe it's going to go against the Lions because they're getting ready to spot the ball.
And they're talking to the coach, Coach Brown,
Yes.
across the way.
Let's see what Larry Clemens has got to say about it.
After the touchdown, we have a dead ball, personal foul on the offense, number 70. That penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff.
So the personal foul is going to be against Piqua, but that was after the play was over, so they'll assess the penalty on the kickoff. So the touchdown by McKeegan-Coon stands. That makes it 26-0. Let's see what the Indians are going to do on the extra point. Last time they tried a 2-point conversion and were successful. Looks like they're going to go through it again.
Looks like they called the personal foul on number 70, Riley Hill. Didn't see it happen, but I don't know. Obviously, he did something that is not appropriate.
Drew the flag, Bob. Let's see what happens as Micah Karn into the shotgun. He's got it on the right side. Oh, he's going to waltz into the end zone. I think it's going to be good. Let's wait for the signal from the referee. Another flag. My goodness gracious. Let's see what this one's all about. Another one. My goodness gracious. I think we've got some young fellas down there losing their cool, Bob.
That'd be my guess.
Now let's let somebody sift through this one because we had one flag. Later we had a second flag after Micah Karn got in the end zone with the 2-point conversion. Let's see what Larry Clemens can tell us about this one.
After the play was over.
Red
ball, unsportsmanlike on the defense.
Unsportsmanlike penalty against the defense.
Assessed on the succeeding kickoff. Also, a second dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the defense, number 21. That penalty will also be assessed on the kickoff.
Two unsportsmanlike conduct penalties on the same play, both of them assessed on the kickoff. So the Indians are going to have pretty good position as Austin Burns gets ready to kick one off. It's 28-0. So let's see where they're going to spot the ball. It would appear to me if they're going to, yes, here comes the assessment of those two penalties. and the official is going to spot the ball on the 45-yard line. So Austin Burns going to have a little more to aim at, Bob.
Yeah, he might be able to get this one in the end zone.
2 unsportsmanlike conduct calls on the same play. That is, you don't see that very often, do you?
No, it must be 2 different guys, one guy building off to the other guy. Whatever it is, it shouldn't happen.
So Austin Burns is going to kick it off from the 45-yard line.
Deep for the Lions.
Let's see how deep Austin gets this one. Scores 28-0 with 4 minutes left to go, second quarter. Line drive all the way down to the 12-yard line. Picked up by the Bryson Flukas. Bryson Flukas gets into the 25, where it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Lions.
Good coverage by the Indians. Team kickoff coverage. Everybody arrived at the point of attack and got in on the stop.
Let's see what Robert Brown decides to do offensively. They're huddling on the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Let's see what Elijah Carson can do with the offense for the Lions. They trail 28-0. He's going to hand it off to his tailback, Bryson Flukas. Flukas is going to get a yard, but boy, not much more than that. Piqua defense pretty tough right now, Bob.
Yeah, the front 8 actually playing very well. Stepped up and made the stop. Didn't allow. Picked up maybe 3.5.
We've got
3.5 yards.
Got an equipment problem for the Piqua side. Blaine Uhl had an equipment problem. He goes to the sideline. Micah Karn goes in to spell him until he can get it taken care of. It's going to be 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down and 8. And now across the way, we're going to have a Meadowdale timeout. So Meadowdale takes a timeout. They trail 28-0 with 3:38 left to go in the first half. Bob Luby, this has been all Piqua. Hardly a surprise for anyone.
No, it's true. Meadowdale just doesn't have the talent to match up with Piqua. They have some talented players. They have 3 guys out there jump out at me, as I mentioned earlier, and I think they could play for a lot of people. Elijah Carson, the quarterback, Bryson Flukas, the tailback. He's pretty quick and he's hard to bring down. And I like what we're seeing out of Isaiah May, the fullback. He's put some nice blocks on some Piqua defenders running the ISO and anything off tackle. So again, you hate to see a team struggle so much, but that's where Meadowdale is in this climb to get back to respectability, and it'll just take time.
And again, Bob, looks to me like the running backs have some talent, but they're a little thin up front and not a big offensive or defensive line.
And they're not deep on the bench.
Right.
You don't have anybody you can rotate in there, so a lot of guys are playing a lot of minutes.
2nd and 8 for the Lions. Carson hands it off this time to Bryson Flukas. Bryson Flukas gets to the 30-yard line, but still going to be a little short of a 1st down. Looks like it's going to be 3rd down. Let's call it 3rd down and 2.
Again, Flukas just runs hard.
Yes, he does.
Got good speed. He's a pretty good tailback. And number 2, the senior, 5'9", 172 pounds. He makes you pay the price when you tackle him.
Indicating how thin the core might be for Lions. They just had a youngster come in to substitute who came in limping. So the Lions are having some substitute problems, and now the injury is starting to prevail. Here's the 3rd down and 2. Hand off to the, I believe that one's off to Isaiah May, but Isaiah didn't have enough for a 1st down. Well,
yeah,
maybe he does. 1st down for the Lions. There haven't been many of those. That happens to be one with the 2:47 left to go in this first half. Now let's see what here comes that substitute in, hobbling, Bob.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's Elijah Carson, but it may be. And if he's limping, Bob, that doesn't do much for their offense.
No, no.
If that is him. 1st and 10. Ball resting on the 31-yard line. Hand off again. Hand off to Bryson Flukas. Tries the middle of that Piqua line, but Bob, I'm not sure he got back to the line of scrimmage.
He met the middle. I see Lance Reeves, number 44, in on the tackle. And I can't tell who else is getting up, but looked like number 8, Jarrell Lewis also.
Okay, 2nd down and 11. Winding down the 2nd quarter of play here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. The Indians with a 28-0 advantage. 2 substitutes in, 2 substitutes to the Meadowdale sideline. Carson brings them up to the line. Wide out here to the near side, covered by Toops. Carson, back to pass, trying to find somebody deep, throws it deep, it's going to be incomplete. No flag, good defensive work. I believe that's Micah Karn coming out. Yep, Micah Karn and Owen Toops on the defense did a nice job for the Indians. That ball was pretty well thrown, but good coverage by Piqua.
Yeah, had him bracketed. Did a nice job of bracketing the receiver over the top. The ball, he just couldn't get to the football.
Blaine Uhl comes in to the lineup for the Indians. 3rd down. 3rd down and 11. We're winding down the 2nd quarter of play here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field, with the Indians holding a 28-0 advantage. Bob, the weather has not been very good all day, but by the time we kicked it off tonight, it was about as good as we can expect.
Yeah, it stopped raining entirely now, I think.
3rd down and 11. Carson up over center. Hands off again. This time hands it off to Isaiah May. Isaiah May gets back to the line of scrimmage. Did he get anything beyond that? He didn't get much. Immediately, I think Piqua calls a timeout. They've got timeout left, and they think with 1:16 left to go, if they get their hands on the football, they might have a chance to put another one on the board before we go to the intermission. Now the question is, will Meadowdale punt it away on 4th and 11? You think they would, but when you're behind 28-0, do you start getting careless or maybe even reckless?
I would think they would kick it here. I would think with only 1:15 left.
I don't think they want to run the risk of giving the ball back to Piqua inside their own 35-yard line, but let's see what Robert Brown, the head coach, decides to do as he's over there talking to the Lions. On this side, Bill Neese talking to his defense, and Bill Neese still thinks there's time for a score, Bob.
Oh, I'm sure. As a coach, you do that. And if they do punt, they're going to come after them with a punt rush.
4th down and 11.
Trenton Foster deep for the Indians.
Still waiting for the Lions to line up to see if they're going to punt or if not. It looks to me like Carson's going to kick it away. He's standing at his own 24-yard line. Short punt formation. No, he's going to run with it. He's going to try to go to this side, but he's going to get some. He's going to get somebody chasing him. Did he get enough for a 1st down, Bob? I believe maybe he did.
I think he did.
Carson this time just outran the Piqua secondary and was able to keep possession of the football at the 45-yard line. Oh, Bob, that was a little bit of a surprise, but I don't believe Robert Brown had any intention of kicking the football, did he?
That was a called play. I think that was a program play. They wanted to run it and took a chance and made it. Of course, when you're down 28-0, I don't know how much of a bad play call is a chance.
Well, the Indians had their eye on the football. Looks like right now they've got to make sure that they escape to the locker room with a 28-0 advantage. Carson this time going to operate out of the shotgun. Back to pass, getting all kinds of pressure. Now he's trying to scoot away from the right side, goes down, and goes down probably at the line of scrimmage. Going to be second down. Let's call it second down and 10. Just under a minute left to go here in the half.
Now they may be satisfied to run it out from here on out. I don't know, because 47 seconds remaining in the first half.
Let's see what happens as the Lions have the football, but not in a very good position to put one on the board when you're 55 yards away from the end zone. Let's see what Carson's going to do with it. Back to pass. Pass to the right flat. They've got a receiver. He gets down to midfield, but that's as far as he got. It's going to be about 4 or 5 yards short of the first down. Clock running with 15 seconds left to go. That might have been the last play of the first half.
I'll bring up third down and 5 for the Lions.
Let's see what we get. Anything. I don't think we're going to get another play in. So that's the end of the half. No, wait a minute. No, not quite.
Timeout.
Lions called timeout.
Yeah.
The Lions got their eye on a score, Bob. That's, I guess, with 3 seconds left to go, there's going to be one more play. So now the Indians got to make sure that we don't come up with something special on the Lions side and keep the Lions off the scoreboard.
That was an interesting call, timeout with 3 seconds. I guess his feeling is, hey, we'll run one play, see if we can get it. If we don't get it, the half's over.
A little unusual, but then when you're behind 28-0, sometimes I think you have to do something that is going to be a surprise, and that's what they're looking for right here. Indians break away from Bill Neese. Ready to go for the third down play with 3 seconds left to go. Carson over center. Gets the snap. Back to pass. Going to throw it high and deep. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's going to be intercepted by Micah Card. Micah Card's got the ball. He's at midfield. He's at the 40. He's cutting back to the 30. Oh, my goodness. He's still on his feet all the way down to the 26-yard line. Micah Karn with the interception at the end of the quarter. And not seeing a flag, Bob, I think that is the end of the first half. End of the first half. Here at Alexander Stadium, the score, the Indians 28, the Lions nothing. Stay tuned for all of the halftime activities. Stay right where you are on the Indian Nation Station, your home for Piqua Athletics. to Perk Field at Alexander Stadium with the halftime score, Piqua 28 and Meadowdale nothing. Time now for our halftime stats, and here's Bob Luby.
Okay, the score at halftime, 28-0. As we look at the stats, first downs, Meadowdale had 6 first downs, the Piqua Indians had 9. Rushing yards, Meadowdale rushed 21 times for 58 yards. Piqua rushed 15 times for 165 yards. Passing yards, Meadowdale was 3 for 10 for 36 yards, 1 interception. Piqua 1 for 3 for 20 yards, no interceptions. And that's not right because we did throw an interception there, didn't we, Dwayne? Or not?
I don't believe we did, Bob.
Okay.
I think they ended up calling that an incomplete pass.
I think you're right. Okay, total offensive plays. Meadowdale had 31 plays totally for 94 yards. Piqua had 18 plays for 185 yards. Kickoff returns, Meadowdale, they had returned 5 kickoffs for 76 yards. Piqua didn't receive a kickoff the first half. Punts, Meadowdale punted 3 times for a 28.3 yard average. Piqua didn't have to punt. Penalties, Meadowdale penalized 5 times for 55 yards. Piqua twice for 30 yards. Here's the interesting one. Time of possession. Meadowdale had the ball for 16 minutes and 40 seconds and didn't score a point. Piqua had the ball for 7 minutes and 17 seconds and scored 28 points.
That is unique. The quick score.
Quick scores, took the ball and moved it down the field. Individual stats, rushing for Piqua, Micah Karn, 6 rushing attempts, 89 yards. He averaged 14.8 yards per carry. McKeegan Kuhn, 5 rushing attempts, 51 yards. He averaged 10.2 yards per carry. Colin Rowe, 2 carries, 12 yards, 6 yards a carry. And Jarrell Lewis, 1 attempt, 9 yards, and he averaged 9 yards per carry. For Meadowdale, Elijah Carson, 7 rushes, 43 yards. He averaged 6.1 per carry. Stephon Hughes, 8 attempts, 8 yards. He averaged a yard a carry. Jawan Gaddis, 5 attempts, 5 yards, 1 yard a carry. And Isaiah May, 1 attempt, 2 yards. He averaged 2 yards a carry. Passing, Elijah Carson for Meadowdale, 3 for 10, 1 interception, 36 yards. For Piqua, Micah Karn, 1 for 3, 20 yards, 1 touchdown. Pass receiving for Piqua, Matt Blankenship had 1 reception for 20 yards. Punting, Piqua didn't punt. Elijah Carson punted 3 times for Meadowdale for a 28.3 yard average. So, the stats are really tilted in favor of Piqua. The scoring opportunities, first quarter, McKeegan Kuhn ran for a touchdown. Pass on the extra points from Micah Karn to Owen Toops was no good, made the score 6-0. Also in the first quarter, Micah Karn carried on the quarterback keeper for a touchdown. The kick by Micah Karn was no good, made the score 12-0. Second quarter scoring, Micah Karn passes to Matt Blankenship for the touchdown, and the point after pass from Micah Karn to Owen Toops was good, made the score 20-0 at that point. And then also in the second quarter, Megan Kuhn ran the ball in for a touchdown from 6 yards out. The point after was a run by Micah Karn, which was good, made the score 28-0, where it stands right now.
Bob, we got a couple minutes. They always have some awards that they give out to the players after every ball game. You happen to have those with you. How about sharing them with us?
Yeah, I talked to Coach Neese this week, and one of the things we talked about were the award winners for this week in the Lima game. Offensively, the award winners were Caden Clark and Riley Hill, both offensive linemen playing on that Piqua offensive line. Riley Hill, the guard on the right side, Caden Clark, the tackle on the right side. Had a masterful game against Lima. Really did a great job knocking people off the line of scrimmage. They were the award winners offensively. Defensively, the award winner was Zane Booker, defensive back. Zane's always around the football, did a good job of shutting down the run and the passing attack, and that gave him the opportunity to be the defensive winner. And the special teams winner was a guy by the name of Nick Medley. Now, Nick was on all special teams. I guess just played very hard, was all over the place, doing whatever he was supposed to do on each special team. Coaches really liked him. Nick Medley was the offensive special teams winner.
So those are the winners in the weekly winners announced by Bill Neese for offense, defense, and special teams. Always a little incentive there to be on that list, Bob. And again, now we're waiting now for the start of the second half of play. Piqua's going to get the football. They got a 28-0 lead. And again, it'll be anxious to see how Bill Neese decides to play this one. His kicker has been number 88. That's Austin Burns. He's been doing a little pooch kick right at the middle of the field, about at the 30-yard line. But Meadowdale adjusted to that the last couple of times. Let's see what Coach Neese decides to do as Burns is going to kick it off as we finish up the first half of play. Piqua 28 and Meadowdale nothing. A reminder, you're watching Piqua High School football on the Indian Nation station. You're home for Piqua Athletics. Dwayne Bachman and Bob Luby. Glad you've joined us tonight. We'll be back next Friday when Fairborn comes to town. So we hope you'll join us as well. So again, an evening that was very, very inclement when we started. We thought maybe we'd have to deal with rain, maybe even lightning, but it looks like all that bad weather is either in front of us or behind us. But it looks like right now it would be nice if we could get this second half underway without any kind of weather problems, especially a lightning delay, which is to nobody's liking on an evening like this, especially with the score 28-0.
Yeah, Piqua will receive the kick in the second half because they deferred to start the game. So the Indians are going to receive the kick. And what is the rule on the running clock, Dwayne?
As I was told, it's got to be in the second half. If any team is ahead by 30 points, basically you're using the running clock. Now, the technicalities of that I'm not so sure of, but if Piqua would happen to get the kick and put one on the scoreboard, I'm told that at that point in time, we'd use the running clock for the remainder of the game. If, in fact, the ball game gets closer than 30, I don't know exactly what happens, but that's my understanding that the 30 score is the one that puts the running clock in play. So the kicking off for the Lions, Alisame Bugato is going to kick it off. He hasn't been very busy, Bob. In fact, this is his first time to kick it off.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens as the Indians get ready to field the punt and start the second half of play. They've got a 28-0 advantage. Here comes the kick. Going to go over the 40-yard line. Ooh, up for grabs there for a second, but I believe Indians covered it. So the Indians are going to have it 1st and 10. They're going to have it on their own. Well, somebody's getting up very, very slowly across the way. And let's see if we can pick up that number. I hate to say who it was. I thought I picked it up, but I don't want to be premature. So there's an injured Indian getting attention on the far side. Katie Smith, the trainer for Piqua, going out to take care of those needs. And then as soon as that's taken care of, the Indians are going to have the ball 1st and 10. The ball's going to be right on their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, can't see a number out there at all.
Thank you, American Legion.
Let's see. I thought I saw who it was, but I don't want to be premature on that one. So right now, the injured Indian getting some attention, and then the players over here on the Piqua sideline huddled around Bill Neese. On the far side, the Lions huddled around their head coach, Robert Brown. Well, whoever's hurt, Bob, is getting up very, very slowly. Well, now it's number 49, And number 49 is
Ladies and
Trenton
gentlemen, put
Foster.
your hands together for Trenton Foster.
Trenton limping a little bit, but now he's trotting off to the sideline. Looks like, I don't know exactly what it is, but he looks like he's doing pretty well. He'll have to go to the sideline, I think, because of the injury thing, but good to have Trenton back on his feet, and let's see if he can get back into this ball game before it's over.
Yeah, sometimes you fall on the football, it can, take the wind out of you too, so it's hard to tell what it was.
Let's see what happens as the Indians put it in play, 1st and 10. Micah Carnes, our quarterback. He's going to operate out of the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the top side. Owen Toops here to the near side. Waiting for the first snap in the second half. Carnes got it. Carnes handles it off to Colin Rowe. Colin Rowe's going to get some running room. He's got a lot of running room. He's down to the 50, 40. He's going to be down to the 35-yard line. Now to the 30, inside the 30. Colin Rowe all the way to the 25-yard line. What a beautiful return on a little reverse, I believe you'd call that, Bob.
Yeah, it was. It was a reverse, and once he broke the line of scrimmage, he had to weave his way through the defenders. And it's almost like, he has a flashlight going through a series of caves or something. That guy finds daylight everywhere he goes and did a great job taking it down to the 25-yard line of Meadowdale.
He came to the Piqua side of the field, ended up being tackled on the Meadowdale side of the field. 1st and 10 for the Indians. They've got it on the Meadowdale 25-yard line. Carn, this time is going to hand it off.
Row your ball carrier.
Let's see who's going to have the ball. I believe
That was Rowe again.
Colin Rowe right up the middle. A reward for that big run. Gets it, but this time he's up the middle, but he got the better part of six yards. Let's call it 2nd down and 4. Play coming in from the Piqua sideline. 2nd down and 4. Early going here in the 3rd quarter. The Indians with the 28-0 advantage. Carn out of the shotgun. Right next to him is Colin Rowe. Carn's going to keep it this time. He's got some running room. He's going around the left side. Gets away from a couple of the tacklers. Goes inside the 5. Did he get the end zone? And he did. Micah Carn with a score. Micah Carn up the middle, cut to the left side, outran a couple of defenders, and fought his way into the end zone for the score.
Looks too easy almost, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, Bob.
He just found a huge hole over there and took it up, turned it upfield, and that was it.
So let's see what Bill Neese decides to do for the extra point. The first couple tonight were not very successful. He goes for the 2-pointers and had some luck. This time I think we're going to have, we're going to try the point after, and I believe that's Micah Carn. Owen Toops is going to hold. Waiting for the snap from McKeegan Kuhn. The snap, the hold, and the kick. It is going to be good. So the extra point is good. That's going to make the score 35. 35-0. And the Indians are going to kick it off to the Meadowdale Lions. We understand that somewhere along the line the running clock rule applies. We'll find out whether that's going to be the case here. And if that's the case, it's basically a matter of what it says. The clock will run for almost everything except the score, as I understand it. So right now it's 35-0, and kicking it off for Piqua one more time.
I would think
Is
the
Austin Burns.
official would make that announcement,
Yeah.
don't you think?
I'm just wondering, Bob, if in fact...
Madison Bogway and company deep for the Lions.
no, we didn't hear the announcement, so it's,
going to invoke the
here it comes. I believe we're waiting for the public address announcer, Doug M., to announce that we're now in the running clock situation. Little pook kick all the way down to the 31-yard line. Picked up by, I believe that's picked up by number 21, Jawan Gaddis. Gaddis gets the ball. It's going to be spotted at the, wait till they put the ball down. Right now, we're waiting for the officials to do just that. I'm not so sure, Bob. There's a little delay here as I think they're waiting for a new a football to be brought into play, and they're going to put it down at the Meadowdale 38-yard line. Bob, you can keep your eye on that scoreboard to see whether or not the running clock applies. I don't have a very good
it's running
view
now.
of it, so I'm guessing we're in the running clock at this point in time. The Lions got the football. Carson's a quarterback. Oh, somebody moved at the line, but no flag. Oh, there's a handoff to Bryson Flukas. He gets maybe a yard. Nice defensive work by that defensive line. I don't know how good Meadowdale is, but the line play of the Indians continues to impress me, Bob.
It sure has. They've done a great job of just securing the line of scrimmage and just pursuing, finding the football. Great team, just a good team defense.
Here come the Lions up to the line of scrimmage. They're facing a 2nd down and 9 in the opening couple minutes of the third quarter. 35-0 Piqua. Carson. Ooh, runs into one of his backs. He's got the football, but by the time he bounces off one of his own running backs, a couple blue jerseys throw him to the turf, and I see number 8, Jarrell Lewis, on the stack, along with a couple other blue jerseys, and a loss for the Lions. Now we've got one of the Lions on the field. Don't know who that is, Bob, but we've had one Lion playing with on a gimpy left leg, so don't know if that happens to be it. We'll take care of telling you about that injured player, but right now the Indians have come to the Piqua sideline to talk to Bill Neese. Now, Bob, here's a question. You're up 35-0. How much do you do when you look at intensity, or are you worried now just about getting everybody to keep focused? It might be 35-0, nothing dumb, no injuries, and then maybe towards the end of this one, we give the younger kids a chance to play.
Oh, yeah, I think you have to get your other people in there, but I think you have to keep playing at a high level. You can't tell your starters to quit playing. You either allow them to play the way they should, or you start substituting. And it's early to substitute. It's there.
It certainly is.
8:43 left in the third quarter, so.
Here come the Lions up to the line of scrimmage. Carson this time hands it off to Bryson Flukas. Not much there, Bob. He might have gotten a yard. Did he get back to the line of scrimmage? Well, maybe he did. Yeah, line of scrimmage, 4th down. Looks like it's going to be 4th down and 10. Little scuffle there at the line of scrimmage, but everybody now going to their respective huddles as cooler heads prevail.
And Trenton Foster's back in the ball game. He's going deep on the punt return, so he must be doing okay.
4th and 10 for the Lions.
Foster deep for the Indians.
Clock running with 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Piqua with a 35-0 lead. Let's see what they do. It looks like Carson's in that. No, he's in the shotgun. So obviously, 4th and 10, they're going to go for it. Nothing really to lose when you're behind 35-0, Bob.
No.
Oh, the ball's on the ground. Carson picks it up. Now we've got Indians. They're tackling everybody. The ball was on the ground. We got a couple Lions who were tackled to the ground. I think basically the blue jerseyed Indians said, we don't know who's got the ball, so let's tackle all of them.
Tackle all of them, to be sure.
So that's going to turn the ball over to the Indians. 1st and 10. Matt Blankenship getting credit for that tackle for the Indians. 1st and 10 now for Piqua. Let's see what happens as the Indians are going to have it right on the 35-yard line. Clock continues to run. We're in the running clock rule of high school football. Karn over center. Handoff this time goes to Owen Toops. Owen Toops has got some running room. He's inside the 20. He's still on his feet at the 10-yard line. Inside the 10-yard line, Owen Toops on a handoff from Micah Carnes around the left side. So move the stakes. Let's see where they spot the football. Was it 1st and 10 or is it 1st and goal? Let's see where they spot the football. And Bob, I just don't know where they spotted the football. Do you see it?
Looks like he's standing right at the 10. But
okay.
I'm not sure if it's just outside the 10 or they dropped. I think it's 1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 10-yard line. Here come the Indians to the line of scrimmage. Wide out to the top side and to the near side. Carn over center. Handoff this time is to McKeegan-Coon. McKeegan-Coon close to a touchdown. Let's see whether he got it, and he did. McKeegan-Coon takes it in for the score. So the Indians quickly put another one on the board. McKeegan-Coon takes it in for the 6-pointer.
Do you see a flag on the play?
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Flag on the play, penalty against the Indians, so that'll come back. So McKeegan-Coon has his touchdown run called back. They'll assess the penalty, and the Indians will get that one over.
During the run, we have a chop block on the offense, number 66. And number
Chop
70.
block on the Indians. Chop block on number 66, Caden Maxwell.
Replay 1st down.
So it's going to be 1st down, but this time the ball is going to be placed on the 21-yard line. So McKeegan-Coon lost a touchdown, Bob. It was a nice run. Now the Indians get another shot at it.
And the way they ran that last play, it doesn't look like they're having a whole lot of difficulty moving the football.
Carn over center. Wide out to the top side and to the near side. The snap. Owen Toops in motion. Over here to the right side, we had another penalty. Penalty is going to be a 5-yard penalty, I think, against the Indians, Bob.
Yeah, now the wheels are starting to come off down here. You know, they're
sometimes
well.
when you get way ahead, these things happen.
Yeah.
You get a little careless, you lose your focus. Only good thing, Bob, is you got 35 points ahead.
Yeah.
So that put the ball back. It's going to be first and goal to go from the 26-yard line of the Lions from Meadowdale High School. Carn. Toops in motion. Hand off to Blankenship. Blankenship's got, no, I believe that's McKeegan-Coon. McKeegan-Coon gets a handoff from Carn. Gets all the way down to the 5-yard line. McKeegan-Coon, boy, he's having a nice night, Bob.
He is. He runs hard, runs low, 6'1", 218-pound junior, keeps those pads square and runs north and south and does a good job of it. He becomes his own blocker. He doesn't, if he doesn't have a blocker, he'll run right through somebody or try to run through somebody.
2nd down, goal to go for the Indians. Micah Carn gets the snap. He's going to try to throw it in the end zone. Got a receiver. I believe that's Jarrell Lewis, isn't it? Number 8, Bob?
Yep, it is.
All right, number 8, Jarrell Lewis gets the touchdown pass from Micah Carn. Boy, Jarrell Lewis plays defense. He's a good runner, strong runner. Now he's a pass catcher for a touchdown.
He came out of the backfield.
Bob, I think we had another penalty.
Flag on the play.
Another penalty. Darn it, that's McKeegan-Coon has one called back. Now Jarrell Lewis has one called back. Too bad. Big number 8 looked good on that one. Now all of a sudden, Bob, it gets a little concerning with all of the penalties.
Yeah, that's what bothers you.
We have an ineligible receiver downfield, number 68. 5-yard penalty from previous.
Illegal receiver downfield for the Indians. So that's going to nullify that touchdown pass from Carn to Jarrell Lewis. Now it's going to be goal to go from the 11-yard line. Handoff this time goes to McKeegan-Coon again. McKeegan-Coon inside the 5-yard line. Hey, we've got Blaine Uhl into that offensive lineup for the Indians. McKeegan-Coon brings it down to the 4-yard line. Been goal to go for about 5 minutes the way it seems, Bob.
Third down and goal for the Indians from the 4.
So now, Blaine Uhl A 6'3", 148-pound sophomore in its quarterback position, getting some very, very valuable experience. He's going to be over center. Goal to go. Ball resting on the 4-yard line. Hand off to Owen Toops. Owen Toops into the end zone, barring a penalty. That's going to be a 6-pointer.
Well, that's the third one on this series they scored. Only one of them counted, though, right?
That's right. This one counted. So the Indians put 6 on the board. Now let's see what they do about the extra point as the running clock prevails. 2:59 left to go, third quarter. Let's see what I think they're going to try to kick this one. Yes, Micah Karn going to kick it. Owen Toops is going to hold it, and McKeegan Kuhn is going to snap it.
Karn on for the extra point.
Waiting now for the PAT. Kick is up. It looks good. So the point after is good. Micah Karn makes it 42-0 as we continue play here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. Remember, you're watching high school football on the Indian Nation station. You're home for Piqua Athletics.
This year's varsity football cheerleaders.
Bob, 42-0. You lose a little of your intensity. At least
Yeah.
I've lost some of mine.
It's hard to keep, pumped up when you get that far ahead, but you have to play well all the time. You can't allow mistakes to enter into the picture. You can't get sloppy. You can't allow yourself to make those kinds of mistakes. So
Austin Burns going to kick it off. I'll bet we're going to start seeing some of the younger kids here before too long, especially with that running clock.
Yeah.
Burns going to kick it off. Boy, he's been a busy young man.
He's kicked off a bunch.
The Lions are trying to cover up that middle of the field at the 40-yard line. Austin waiting for the whistle, gets it. Here's the kick. Line drive all the way down to the 15-yard line. Picked up by number 2, Bryson Flukas. Flukas going to try to get some running room over this side. He gets a lot of running room, cuts back. He's in Piqua territory, down to about the 39-yard line. There have been a couple of times when they've had some special teams play, Bob, in which they've gotten some long gainers.
Yeah, coverage wasn't real good. The Indians seemed to bunch up in the middle of the field and didn't stay in their lanes and allowed some outside movement like we saw there. So that's going to, I think they marked him out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Lions. The Lions want to score, and the Piqua defenders, regardless of who you are, want to keep the Lions out of the end zone.
Yeah, it's a pride thing with the defense. They don't want to give up any points.
It's 42-0 as we wind down the third quarter of play here at Alexander Stadium, Perk Field. Dwayne Bachman, Bob Luby, we're with you tonight. We'll be with you next Friday night when Fairborn comes to town. I believe that young fellow limping is number 4, is Elijah Carson, so he's playing hurt himself. Let's see what happens as it's 1st and 10, ball resting on the Piqua 45-yard line. Now let's see what happens. We're going to have a timeout on the part of Meadowdale.
That's our first timeout this half.
Bob, it's kind of hard to summarize what's happened here tonight. It has basically been David versus Goliath, and yet you have to be impressed with how intense the Indians did play. I was satisfied with their defensive play, and again, even though they scored 42 points, there has been some nice offensive work from the Indians.
Oh, yeah, they've done a lot of things well. They block well, have been able to run the football, obviously, pretty well. Haven't thrown it much at all, but didn't feel like the need to. Defensively, have been very strong, and it's just kind of let's be honest, a one-sided game. When it's 42-0 in the third quarter, you can't call it anything but one-sided. Meadowdale just outmanned and is not able to compete with the Indians.
Well, let's see what happens as the Lions come up to the line of scrimmage. They would like to get on the scoreboard, Bob, and the Indians are very, very determined to keep that from happening. Carson Waiting for the snap. He's in the backfield position. Back to pass. Looking downfield. Going to throw one to the right side. Let's see what happens as it goes to the right side. We have a receiver and a defender fighting for the ball. Let's see what they're going to rule that a completed pass. Looked like they were both wrestling with it. If I'm not mistaken, Bob, in that particular case, the advantage goes to the pass receiver.
I think that's the rule. When the ball is up, they both come down with it. The offense gets control.
So the Lions have the ball on the Piqua 25-yard line. This might be as close as the Lions have gotten all night.
I think you're right.
Carson waiting for the snap from the shotgun. 1st and 10. Handoff to his fullback. He got away from a defender. That was Bryson Flukas. Bryson Flukas ran over one of the Indians, and that particular Indian is on the turf. Boy, they collided, Bob.
Yeah. He tried to make the tackle and didn't. And
I'm trying to think who it is. I can't see the number, but a collision, and let's see what happened as the ball is going to be placed inside the 20-yard line. Going to be 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down and 4. Right now, we're not certain who the injured Indian might be. Glad you joined us tonight on an inclement evening, but can't be a total inclement evening, not when you've got 42 points and the opponents have yet to score.
I missed the replay on our monitors here in the box. It's been a big help.
Yes.
And don't have it tonight. It's not functioning properly, so we're looking at everything once and trying to make a quick view, get a quick view and make a comment.
And again, we mentioned as the game started, when you have gold numbers on white jerseys, boy, it is difficult to pick them up. We've tried to do our best, but that is not easy. But right now our concern, of course, is the injured Piqua Indian, Katie Smith, out there. See if you can catch a number, Bob, I think. Could that be number 14? Let's check one.
For the 50-50 drawing here. Tonight's 50-50 worth $205.
I think it's 14.
14, that'd be Craig Hemmert.
I think.
50-50 tickets ready.
So he's now sitting up, putting on his helmet, and I'm not so sure, Bob. It isn't a leg problem. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Craig Hemmert coming off very, very slowly. Part of that might have been that collision he had with Bryson Flukas, because they hit hard at about the 30-yard line. So
Yeah.
Katie Smith helping Craig Hemmert to the sideline. And we'll see whether or not find out what the story is, because Katie Smith has given him some help, so he'll have to have some attention, and let's hope it isn't anything serious. Here come the Lions up to the line of scrimmage. They got 2nd down and 4. We're in the last minute of the 3rd quarter in a running clock situation. Carson back to pass, over to the right flat. 3 receivers out there, but a lot of blue jerseys as well. And the receiver was Jawan Gaddis, but he's going to be short of the 1st down, going to be 3rd down. Let's call it 3rd down and 2. With the clock running, that might have been the last play of this quarter. Let's see if the other Lions are going to try to get one away before the end of the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 2. Elijah Carson waiting for the snap. Here it comes. He's going to go back to pass. Now he's going to try to go right up the middle. Oh, he falls down and loses the football, and I believe Piqua recovered, Bob. Elijah Carson lost control of the football, and if I'm not mistaken, that might be Jarrell Lewis who fell on it.
I think it was. He just got stripped. I think he didn't have the ball protected well enough, and Jarrell just got his big arm out there and raked it right out of his arms. And the Indians take over, and that ends the 3rd quarter.
So the 3rd quarter ends with the score Piqua 42 and Meadowdale nothing. The Meadowdale Lions threatening a little bit, but the turnover is going to give it right back to the Indians, and we'll see now who's going to be in that offensive series for Piqua with this big lead. Well, waiting now for the officials to walk the distance from one side of the field to the other. Just to remember, we're going to be back next Friday when Fairborn visits Alexander Stadium. And I believe we said earlier, Bob, Fairborn was 0-2 going into tonight's game.
Correct, correct.
Everybody's ready. Here come the Indians up with the offensive unit. Let's see if we can pick up some of these youngsters who are probably getting some playing time. And I'd almost bet that, number 4, Blaine Uhl, is going to be the quarterback.
And I see number 77, Bryce Short, going in at an offensive line position.
Uhl over center. Handoff goes to number 45. That's Derek Sheehan. Derek Sheehan breaks through for a big gainer and a first down for the Indians. We haven't seen much of Derek, but boy, he didn't waste any time, Bob.
Yeah, 5'7", 161-pound junior really ripped off a nice run, found daylight, turned it upfield, got up to the 35-yard line.
First and 10 for Piqua.
Eric Potter.
Just started the fourth and final quarter. Blaine Uhl, sophomore quarterback, over center. Looking over the defense. Waits for the snap. Handoff this time. The handoff this time goes to Silas Bragg. I believe it's 34, and
he fumbled.
And the Lions recovered. So the turnover is going to give it right back to the Lions, and they're going to have the ball on the Piqua 34-yard line. So I believe, is that the first turnover for the Indians tonight, Bob?
Yeah, I think it is.
So the fumble gives it right back to Meadowdale.
Please see any of the Piqua cheerleaders or the Spirit Store for brochures.
Now let's see what Robert Brown decides to do. Last time he had it this close, they picked up, they fumbled the ball and the Indians recovered. Let's see what happens here.
Tell you, I haven't seen that running clock running too much. It's still not running. I don't know if you stop it on a change of possession.
There are certain places where you do stop it, Bob. Can't say I know enough about the rules. The injury, the score, I think, are two of them, but there may be more than that. Might be change of possession. Here come the Lions. Up to the line of scrimmage, number 4, Elijah Carson. In the shotgun. Here comes the left-hander. Going to try to throw to the right side. Got a receiver. Incomplete on the far side. Just about had him. Threw it a little bit too long. It goes incomplete. It's going to be second down and 10 for the Lions.
Yeah, the clock continues to run, so now it's definitely in the running clock mode.
Second down.
10 minutes and 11 seconds left in the ball game. The Indians 42-0 over Meadowdale.
Let's see what the Lions decide to do. They want to get on that scoreboard, Bob. They want to get on the scoreboard, and the Indians are determined not to let them on the scoreboard. An interesting contrast here. And a lot of these young Indians trying to impress the coaching staff. Carson. Over on the left side, another pass in the left flat, but it goes incomplete. That pass was intended for Jermaine Daniel, Bob. Jermaine Daniel.
All right.
We'll be hosting Fan Appreciation Night at next Friday night's home game.
All right, third down and 10.
From 6 to 7 p.m. Offering a free Mom's Club basket raffle and blasting Piqua football shirts into the stands for the fans throughout the game.
Here comes Elijah Carson in from the Meadowdale sideline.
Before the game.
Clock continues to run. Carson. In the I formation. Waiting for the snap. He's back to pass. Now looking on this side. Tries to find a receiver, but incomplete, so it's going to bring up 4th down. That was, pass was intended for number 13. That was, again, intended for Jermaine Daniel. So here come the 4th down play. You know, the Lions are going to try to keep possession. Let's see what Coach Robert Brown decides to do on 4th and 10.
Which includes a spot in the event, Piqua Indian long sleeve t-shirt, and a chance to win over 24
Carson.
prizes. Whether you're a walker, runner,
waiting for the snap.
Piqua football, please come and be a part of the great night of fun.
Going to go back to pass. Now he's going to run right up the middle. Oh, he's got some running room. He's going to have enough for a 1st down. Runs to the far side of the field and out of bounds, but not before he gets a 1st down for the Lions. So the Lions keep possession of the football, 1st and 10.
This quarterback draw, it was designed play all the way, and Carson, probably their best football player, felt like he had to take things into his own hands and make a 1st down, and he did.
When he got in the middle of the field, Bob, there was a lot of green, and then he cut to the sideline, so enough for a 1st down. Indians are on the defense. The Lions have it 1st and 10 on the Piqua 22-yard line. Clock continues to run at 7:20. It's 42-0 in favor of the red and blue. Lions with a 1st down. Now all of a sudden we have a referee saying that there's timeout on the part of Meadowdale. Bob will be here next Friday night, Fairborn. Any idea what they might bring to the field? All I know is that they're 0-2.
I'm not sure. I don't know much about them at this point. They seem to be struggling a little bit, but you know, that could change from week to week.
Then let's look at the next week when the Indians travel to Trotwood Madison. Now that in itself poses some interesting questions. The Indians playing very well, get another big win next Friday night. They might be ready to challenge the Rams, who have a few struggles of their own.
Well, yeah, but you know, Trotwood always displays a good football team. They're, again, we overuse the term athletic. They're always very athletic, a lot of good athletes. People can run, fly around, and I think they play Pickerington Central tonight.
Won't that be interesting to see how that turns out?
Yeah.
Because we know that the Pickerington teams are all very, very well coached.
Yep, it's a big step up. Trotwood Division III, Pickerington Central Division I, so it'll be an interesting game, I'm sure.
And has Trotwood already been beaten once? I think they lost
last week.
Yes.
Simeon something out of Chicago.
Carson back to throw the football. Nope, hands it off. Or did he keep it, Bob?
He kept it.
He kept it. Tried to try the left tackle for the Indians. Not much luck there. 2nd down. Let's call it 2nd down at 12.
Clock continues to tick. 6:20 left in the ball game.
Let's see what happens. I thought I saw Carson limp to the sidelines. Let's see if that's what I saw. But we'll see if we can pick up the quarterback, if in fact it isn't Elijah Carson. The snap. That is Carson. At least it's another left hand. Intercepted by Piqua at the goal line. Let's see who's got it. By gosh, I believe that's Jarrell Lewis, Bob. Jarrell Lewis, who's got the football, and by golly, he doesn't want to go down. Let's see if I got that right.
Number eight, I think it is, yeah.
Jarrell Lewis takes it all the way back to the 42-yard line. Jarrell Lewis has really, really sparkled here this evening.
Try to catch some of these numbers going out. I see Andrew Cremines out there for the Indians. I see Devin Seaver going out on the field. I see number 54. That would be Lance Darner.
Number 20, Dylan Cheney, I think, is out there as well. Some of the younger kids getting some playing time. That's the way it's supposed to be. Over center is Uhl. Handoff. Let's see who gets the ball. Boy, that ball carrier is smothered by a bunch of white jerseyed, and I believe that's number 45, if I'm not mistaken. That's Derek Sheehan, who's back in the ball game. Mason Hall into the ball game for Piqua. Andrew Cremines also in there. In fact, Cremines is right now the quarterback. There's going to be a pitch out here on the far side to Derek Sheehan. Derek Sheehan tries the corner, can't quite do it. I don't know, Bob. I don't think he's got enough for the first down, but I think he's awfully close.
Yeah, I think he's a little short.
A little pitch out to Derek Sheehan. Tried the left side, couldn't turn the corner, ran out of artificial turf. Third down. Let's call it 3rd down and 2. 4:20 left to go in the ball game. Piqua 42, Meadowdale nothing. Here comes 82 into the ball game. Spencer Arnett. And our kicker, Austin Burns, getting a little offensive work. Done a lot of kicking tonight. Now he's out there with the offensive unit. Pitch out is going to Dylan Seaver. Dylan Seaver gets enough. Wait a minute, Bob. Did he cough that ball up?
Must have.
I believe he did, because one of the Lions picked it up and took it all the way down to the 5-yard line, but there's a flag on the play. I believe that was a recovered fumble, and the Lions picked it up, took it all the way down to the 5-yard line, but I think it's coming back.
Oh, and 2 for the tackle.
Let's see what the penalty might be. Nobody's going towards the end zone, so obviously that long run back on the fumble is going to be called back. Larry Clemens, our referee, says it's going to be... Oh, wait a minute.
Against Piqua.
Against Piqua? 1st down. Not so sure I understand that. The ball, the youngster who carried the ball to the 5-yard line was from, oh, okay. Now they've turned it around, and Bob, I'm confused on this one.
I think he is too, Dwayne.
Yeah, we're going, I'm not
We'll have to tell him there's only 2 directions you can point.
North and south, huh?
You've used both of them. So let us know which one is working.
Yeah, and you're out of them for the rest of the game.
Yeah. It's coming back.
Coming back, bye-bye. That must have been where the fumble was recovered.
And maybe a block in the back on the recovery.
I don't know, but they're bringing it all the way back to the Meadowdale 36-yard line. I'm not so sure I understand that one at all, but it doesn't really make a lot of difference because the score is 42-0 with 3.5 minutes left, but that was a puzzler. Well, let's see what happened. Let's see what down it is. I guess it's 1st and 10. Don't understand that part either. But let's see what happens as the Lions have the football. Back to pass is the quarterback. He throws it downfield. Was that? Yes, I think that was a completed pass. Yes, there was another one to our buddy Jermaine Daniel.
Yeah.
He had a heck of a game.
He's stepping up.
Yes, he is. So that's going to be enough for a Meadowdale 1st down. Boy, this has been rather hectic, Bob. But we're down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds, so this one is going to make a victory of 2 against 1 loss for the Indians, and they look forward to Fairborn next Friday night, and then after the next Friday, they're going to go to Trotwood Madison. Let's see what happens as the Lions try to get on the scoreboard, and the Indians trying to prevent just that. There's Carson. Carson looking downfield, throws it a long way, out of bounds, incomplete, intended for his receiver. That one, I think, Bob, was Rashad Jones. I think Rashad tried to get it, but it was out of his reach. Falls incomplete.
Yep.
Carson's pass goes incomplete.
Cameron Deal, number 27, was back here in coverage. it looked like they had a step on Cameron, no.
Well, it's going to be second down, and 10. The clock is going to continue to run.
27, Cameron Deal, and number 7, Devin Seaver.
So let's see what happens with second down and 10 in the last 2 or 3 minutes of a 42-0 ball game. Elijah Carson from the I spread formation. Gonna pass. Getting some pressure. Now he's got some running room around the right side. Gonna have enough for a first down, but gonna not be knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Enough for another first down. Boy, these Lions keep threatening, Bob, and the Indians keep trying to keep them out of that end zone.
1 minute left. This is one of those situations where you say, it's good. There's a minute left in this ball game.
I think you're right, Bob. I think you're right. Lions up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10. Ball resting on the 25-yard line of the Indians. A pass over the right side, incomplete.
Pass intended for Juwan Gaddis goes incomplete.
So the incomplete pass is probably going to be, well, we got one more play before this game is over. If, in fact, the Lions can put it in play in 20 seconds, and they probably can. Stay with us. We're going to have a post-game guest talk about this one, and that ought to be interesting, Bob. Rick Krejci said he was going to stop by. I hope he's with us. Here comes probably the last play of this ball game. Carson, back to pass. To the far sideline, incomplete and out of bounds, and that's going to be the end of the ball game. That's the end of the ball game with the final score, Piqua 42, and again, Meadowdale nothing, Piqua 42. We'll be back with our post-game guest right after this timeout.
Stadium next Friday night, as Fairborn comes calling for a 7 p.m. kickoff. Have a great week, everybody.
I told you would. Look at that when I called it. Tonight we are victorious. If Chip remembers. Remembers.
Well, we thank Coach Rick Krejci for stopping by with us post-game to talk a little bit about the football game. Coach, an interesting game. Piqua dominated the whole game. Just a nice win for the Indians, but when it gets right down to it, does your team get the kind of feel you need in a contest that they dominate an opponent so much like this?
I think execution is the biggest thing you take out of a game like that. You You want to execute. You want to do the same things, you know, all the time. So the repetition part of it and the execution is what we try to concentrate on.
Had a lot of guys play well tonight. I like, again, the offensive line. A lot of holes down there. Backs running pretty much everywhere they wanted to run. You're getting good play out of a lot of people. Came back and defensively played very strong also. Didn't allow anything. Well, they moved the ball a little bit. Quarterback, very athletic, made some plays, but they were just limited with the number of personnel they had.
Well, it was nice to play against that type of quarterback because we're going to see good quarterbacks in the future, and I thought we could have done a little bit better job in containing that situation a little bit. But he's a good player.
Yeah, he rolls out, gets out on the perimeter. He's got good speed. He caused you some problems and can throw the ball well. Tight spiral, but again, it was a nice win for Piqua. As you looked at the Meadowdale film, what did you feel like you had to do when you saw that quarterback? I know that everybody was talking about how athletic he was. What did you feel the key was to contain him?
Well, we knew that they throw a lot of play action stuff, so they're going to roll him to one side or the other. So we worked defensive end wise on definitely keep him contained. I thought we did a good job with that, although we did miss a lot of tackles. That part of wasn't good, but we didn't let him in the end zone, and that's the name of the game.
Let me bring up an ouchie thing. We got to look at our kicking game on the point after. Do you agree?
Well, if you look at it, he missed one extra point. He's made every one in the second half, and the other things that were bad about was the execution part of it. We dropped one by the holder, and
that's what I meant.
Those are things that you have to work on, and we work on it every day. So we'll keep getting better at it.
In a game like this, it doesn't matter.
It does matter, but
it doesn't affect the score.
But at least we had the opportunity to do it.
And
that's the repetition part of it is so important.
Any other phases of the game you were pleased with as you watched the football game?
Well, we want to do a little bit better job with the passing game. Our play action stuff was good. We just have to, get more opportunities. We didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to throw it, not because of the weather, but because we were running the ball so well.
As you look down the road, you're going to have to pass the football this year sometime or other. People are going to start shutting down the running game because the talent level you're going to play is a little better. Mm-hmm. So that passing game is going to have to come into play. So another big victory for the Indians. Again, looking forward to Fairborn next week. Do you know anything about Fairborn yet?
We know a little bit about them, but we'll see. They played Beaver Creek today. The thing is that we haven't seen them play against an offense like ours. It's always been option stuff and real tight formation, so wing tee stuff. So it'll be different.
We cause some people problems just because we can get off the football so well and block. I mean, create running lanes, and it's not fancy necessarily up front. It's just guys getting after people. And
that's where our strength right now is our offensive line and our running backs. We have multiple kids that can carry the ball, and our quarterback's run has been good to us, and we're going to keep on working on the passing game.
Okay, Coach, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Good luck. We'll see you next week.
Okay.
Well, the final score was Piqua 42 and Meadowdale nothing. Statistically, they lined up this way. First downs, Meadowdale had 9. The Piqua Indians had 13. Rushing yards, Meadowdale rushed 30 times for 87 yards. Piqua rushed 27 times for 318 yards. Boy, another great game running the football for the Indians. Passing yards, Piqua passed for 20 yards, 1 for 3 for 20 yards. Meadowdale was 6 for 20, 79 yards, and 2 interceptions. Total offensive plays, I thought this was interesting. Meadowdale had the ball for 50 offensive plays. They accumulated 166 yards. Piqua had the ball for 30 plays with 338 yards. Of course, the Indians had a lot of big plays. That's why they scored quickly with smaller numbers of rushing or essentially rushing attempts. Punts, Meadowdale punted 3 times for a 28.3 yard average. Piqua didn't have to punt all night. That's unusual in a high school football game. Fumbles, Meadowdale had 1, lost 1. The Indians had 2 and lost 2. Penalties, Meadowdale penalized 6 times for 70 yards. Piqua 5 times, 55 yards. That's a little ouchy for the Indians. Possession time, wow. Meadowdale 25 minutes 48 seconds. The Indians 13 minutes 27 seconds. Again, because they scored quickly. Individual statistics for the Piqua Indians: Micah Karn, 7 rushing attempts, 107 yards. He averaged 15.3 yards per carry. McKeegan Kuhn, 7 rushes, 78 yards. He averaged 11.1 yards per carry. Colin Rowe, 4 carries, 59 yards. He averaged 14.8 yards per carry. And Derek Sheenan, 3 rushing attempts, 35 yards. He averaged 11.7 yards per carry. That's interesting. All the rushers were in double figures for the Indians. Passing, Micah Karn 1 for 3, 20 yards. Pass receiving, Matt Blankenship 1 reception, 20 yards. For rushing for Meadowdale, Elijah Carson led with 65 yards and 12 attempts. Jawan Gaddis 12 yards and 9 attempts. Punt returns, Trenton Foster 1 for 30 yards, Owen Toops 1 for 28 yards. Big victory for Piqua. The Indians just played well and came out and dominated a Meadowdale team that just couldn't match up with them. And it was just a problem all night for Meadowdale. So we're going to look at next week being on the air and having Fairborn in town. And that's pretty much the story tonight from Alexander Stadium, with the final score Piqua 42 and Meadowdale nothing. We'd like to thank the Piqua City Schools, the Piqua Athletic Department, Piqua head coach Bill Neese, athletic director Chip Hare, TriCaster Tom Beck, media instructor Damon Damon, our director, the guy that makes this happen, A.J. Ganger, and the students at Piqua High School that help us film this game. Until next time, this is Bob Luby along with Dwayne Bachman saying good night, everybody.